Hi, everybody. This is Lee Honish. Welcome to another episode of Distressed Properties. Lee Honish, David Bartels. Of course, always call David at 805-413-8000 for all your distressed property needs. You're working with a short sale, somebody who missed a payment, or just somebody who needs to sell their house and they might lose money, just give David a call. All right, with that said, today's episode is about the coronavirus, and I don't want to sensationalize this, but as a marketing coach and a professional, I have literally spent the last 48 hours on my phone talking to people working on their business. There is no simple solution to this. You should have been building a list. You should have been creating web funnels. You should be getting Facebook leads. You should be doing all of that. So here's my offer to help out with all of you. There are about 1.5 million real estate agents, another million. There's a very large podcast of people who listen to it, so I'm going to try to help you guys out. Call me, 858-663-2537. If I'm not available, text me, 858-663-2537, or visit Honish.com and fill out the form. I've taken down my website for the month. If you want to learn how to go after distressed properties or people affected by all of this, doesn't matter. There's a solution, right? We're in an age where you can't knock a door now. We're in an age where people aren't going to invite you over to have a conversation. We're currently in an age, at least for the next several weeks, where people don't want to leave their house. So we need to look for more effective ways to build our lists and to expand. So again, my offer is free to try to help out all of you in real estate. Just text me at 858-663-2537 or send me an email at leehonish@yahoo.com or go to my website, honish.com. Go straight to a forum page. Again, enjoy this week's episode. David and I start season 10 this week. We started Monster Marketing. I started Monster Marketing back in March of 2010. David's been along for a great portion of that journey. And so it is my pleasure to offer you Season 10, Episode 1. Enjoy. Hi, everyone. Welcome to your weekly coaching call. Welcome to literally between David and I, Season 10, Episode 1. David and I have known each other 2007 or 8, David. When did we have that connection? It was through GP, right? So it's what?
I was starting the short sales back in
7 or 8, right?
No, probably 9 or 10.
Okay. And it was through our mutual friend, Gina. And David and I have known each other since then. We subsequently came together in 2010 and worked together to create this group for everybody. So welcome to Season 10. We've had a couple of weeks off. David went on vacation. I've kind of carried the banner. Then we weirdly last week had a reset of GoToWebinar. It's good or bad, whatever you say. I apologize for everybody who haven't gotten anything in the last couple of weeks. We're back. All of our coaching students are back and signed up. We have a good room. Let's cover today's topics right out of the gate, David. First and foremost, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you as the distressed landlord of all distressed landlords. Did I lose you?
No, I didn't hear it. I heard distressed landlords. You broke up.
Yes, please tell everybody how they can get a hold of you and how you can.
Sorry about that. Yeah, there's a little glitch in my connection. All right, I'm David Bartels, home loan advocate. Short sales is what we do. Distressed properties is what we do. And happy to chat with you about any of that stuff. 805-413-8000, 805-413-8000. And you can email David at homeloanadvocates.com.
Simple enough. My name's Lee Honish. I am the creator of Monster Marketing and digital marketing and all things marketing. Go to Honish.com, Honish.com. I'll do a 1-hour free session with you. I will tell you what your brand is, how to build it, and how to do it online. I think the biggest development in my life is people want to learn my marketing so that they can be marketers in other markets throughout the United States. So that's really exciting for me. I tend to get people more of what they want. You can definitely talk to the people, and there are people on this call that are getting buyers leads in a weirdly coronavirus universe. Let's start right there because that's the biggest news. It's hit Forbes, it's hit Yoon, it's hit everybody in real estate, David. As the coronavirus spreads, it's not business as usual for real estate agents. So I'm not going to read the whole article because it's a Forbes written article, but I know this from talking to other real estate agents. We've got sellers who don't want open houses, right? So we're cutting down on the number of leads, which you and I both personally believe is one of the most solid spots for getting additional leads. We've got buyers that have literally withdrawn, even though the interest rate is what it is, because they don't want to go out and invest. What is the impact right now for you in the Conejo for your clients?
Well, we're not really seeing an impact here on housing yet. I mean, and that doesn't mean, when I say yet, it doesn't mean that we will. Really, what's happening is that interest rates have been pushed down to the point where you're seeing a lot of refinance. It's tough getting a lender on the phone because
Right.
they're really so busy with refinancing, which has really been great for the mortgage side of the business. We're still seeing buyers really out in droves. We had one of the busiest open houses that we've ever had on Sunday. We're still getting multiple offers on everything. It has not deterred buyers yet, and it has not been reflected in housing in general, other than an increase in activity. Now, having said that, what I'm going to do today, if you're a real estate agent, you might want to do the same thing, is that I'm going to actually record a video about Corona and real estate and what it means to your local market. And the essence of what I'm going to say is that right now it's not affecting real estate. However, you can see that there is some concern about how it's going to affect the overall economy based on the turbulence that you see in the stock market right now.
Right.
The impact that the turbulence in the stock market has done is has caused the 10-year bond to be the lowest that it's ever been. And it's like 0.76, and it's never been under 1. So that's why you're seeing the lowest interest rates maybe in history that you're seeing right now, and that's caused a refinance boom. And so if you have a mortgage and you're thinking about being in your house for a while, then you should probably be seriously considering a mortgage broker, a refinance, and we'd be happy to refer you to one. If you're thinking about selling your house and you're not sure if you're going to do it this month, next month, or 4 months from now, and you're trying to figure out whether or not Corona is going to have an impact on what the results are, and so the answer is it could have an impact. It doesn't mean it will, and the impact it could have is if you wait and the turbulence in the stock market turns into job loss, it turns into a weakening economy and job loss, then you're going to either buyers are going to move to the sideline because they have a lack of confidence, or they're going to be forced to the sidelines because they can no longer qualify for a mortgage because their income went down or they lost their job or whatever. And if the flood of inventory comes on the market that we typically see in spring and summer, and there's not enough buyers to absorb it, then you'll see sellers that are competing with each other in order to lower prices. So it could put a lot of downward pressure on pricing. Even though there's limited upside, prices aren't likely to go up over the next couple of months, but they're very likely to go down if this spreads into job loss. And so if you're thinking about selling your house this month versus 3 months from now, my advice is to get on the market right now and sell it before, because you have a lot more downside potential than you have upside potential, and the risk could be real. Now, if you're a buyer,
hold on, David. Shamelessly, if they're in the Conejo Valley, how do they sell that house?
Well, they should call me.
Look, I'm a shameless marketer. By the way, feel free, Honish.com, sign me up. I'll show you how to be shameless. But David, if somebody really wants to sell right now, and I know we get some ancillary on this, how do they sell in the Conejo?
Well, you'd call us. We're Help Yourself Full Service Realty, and basically, our typical client saves $22,553, and we sell houses 22 days faster and for 4.4% more money. And clients generally hire us when they want full service, big savings, and better results. But now let me go. Thanks for that.
You didn't do phone number. Phone number.
Okay. 805-379-3300, or just Google us. Help Yourself.
Just taking care of you as your marketer. I'm just taking care of you.
I don't think those buyers are listening to this stuff.
You would
know?
be shocked, David, where I put this podcast and these
All right.
videos.
Well, hopefully they find it. But here's the thing. If you're a buyer, maybe you wait, maybe you don't wait. Maybe the prices come down, maybe they don't come down. I don't really know what it's going to be. There's a chance that they'll come down, and there's a limited chance that they're going to go up from here. So it's kind of a crapshoot. But if it comes down, it'll be very limited, because the truth of the matter is this is all going to blow over in 90 or 120 days. And it's going to be a big nothing burger at the end of the day. It's just
180 probably max is, based on what I've researched, they'll have probably an antidote, or at least a correction to it, with no greater than 18 months.
I don't think anybody thinks it's an overreaction. And the bottom line is that there's this, people are selling newspapers and blogs and TV commercials, and at the end of the day, that's really what's going on.
Perception. But that's ultimately public perception, right? Yeah. I don't want to go out. I'm staying at home. College campuses are doing digital courses. I mean, let's talk about this. This is a ripple effect, right? So let's talk ripple effect. Number one is the stock market. So if I'm a publicly traded company that holds real estate, let's say hypothetically like a Blackwater type company, at what point do I fear the market before? And ultimately, we've seen this in the market, right? At what point does Blackwater go, screw it, I'm out, sell everything, right?
This doesn't do that to them. I mean, they've got a long-term review. I mean, listen, the only way this affects you if you hold real estate 1 or 1,000 properties, the only way it affects you is if you're looking to sell in the next 6 months and you're not sure, do I wait or do I not wait? And if you're not sure, put it on the market now. Otherwise,
I don't think you're going to get a better. I don't think the market. No, I'm just saying this. At this point in the market, we've literally got essentially a zero interest rate. And we literally, at least for California and most of the major metros, literally have peak of the market. And I'm looking at the stock market. I've been watching it every morning like a mental patient. At what point do I panic as a trust and go, I'm out. I'm taking peak prices and I'm cashing out?
Well, I listen, I don't know nobody knows what the market is going to do. I mean, we've already had a slowdown. I mean, the stock market's been barreling ahead, and a lot of what you see in the stock market is you're just seeing people taking profits, and now you're seeing people trading on the swings. They're getting in, they're getting out, they're getting in, and a lot of it is really computer driven. And these swings have a tendency to overreact in both directions. So they overreact on the upside, they overreact on the downside, and things will ultimately settle down. I mean, the industries that are being hurt right now are primarily travel, and everything else is just a precaution. I'm still trying to figure out what the correlation between coronavirus and the reason there's no toilet paper in Costco.
Rice, David.
Yeah, I don't. It's interesting to me, that I'm hearing these, and no, you can't find water. And I mean, it's like we're going to get quarantined for 6 months or something like that. And, listen,
it's crazy. And literally, I look at it
in my house for a few weeks. I'd be okay with that. Between DoorDash and Postmates, I'll be all right.
Well, here's the funny part, right? By the way, how do I know it's the anniversary? We built everything around my birthday. That was the first actual live event, and David and I came together shortly thereafter. So we're coming up on my birthday, David, and I want to go. I literally want to go on a cruise on the 31st, and it's like $40 a night. Like it's literally a no-brainer. Like I can take 2 weeks and spend $300 and go on a cruise.
There's a lot of people that think that's a really great idea right now. Listen, if you're healthy, it's a no big deal. I mean, I don't know. I'm not telling you to go or not go, but I'm not afraid of hugging people and shaking hands and doing
remarkably, David.
Last night, people didn't want to shake my hand. I said, no, I can't think of a better group of people to be quarantined with. Come on.
Thank God the Counting Crows are playing April 11th in Vail, Colorado, and apparently the virus doesn't work in the snow. So I'll just go there and call it a day. But the reason I bring this all up, this is a ripple effect. We've talked about it on how do we capitalize on it, and I can actually talk about this because I've already seen emails to this effect. Capitalizing on it, or understanding it, or accepting it. And I've talked to my clients, and one of my clients is actually using a pitch through Redfin, right? Redfin, I don't really have a choice on the clients that I get. I just do the best for them. And they asked, what do I do to make this effective? And I said, well, you guys do 3D virtual reality. What's the point of you not taking your camera and showing houses digitally? Like, we have to start to look at the needs of our clients to continue the buyers, right? I personally never thought when you and I went to the car events or the NAR events that 3D virtual walkthroughs were actually going to be the thing. And now we're at a point where people are scared, and a 3D walkthrough is actually going to sell a home. So we have to look at alternative methods for selling properties, or at least looking for new listings. What's your take on the alternative approaches?
Well, I haven't really given any thought to that, but I know if I'm a seller, I would not want to open escrow with somebody who has not seen my house, because you can't get that emotional connection to the house. Pardon me. It's not Corona.
He's got
So,
Corona.
so if you were, so you can't get the emotional connection to us. That the feeling I want buyers to have if they're going to buy a house that I'm involved in selling is when they walk through the door, they have this visceral response to the property. They either love it or they don't. They know in moments whether or not it's the right house or could be the right house, and the support. You can't get that online. And though there are stories of people buying houses sight unseen and not doing that, I rarely have ever even responded to an offer that they haven't walked in and been able to reaffirm and capture the emotion that goes into buying a home that's so important to getting it through to conclusion. So, I think all those things are fine. There's lots of ways to do it. But I don't have any sellers telling me I don't want people in my house, and I don't have any buyers saying they don't want to go see a house. So,
It's funny because
I'm
I
not
literally, the Forbes article I was going to read are about people who don't want people walking through their house. And I understand pandemic and fear, but at the numbers we're talking about as compared to the general population, we go back to it, right? What is the public perception? Are really 10% people, 10% of people really behind on their car payments? Like, what is the tipping point to the recession that ultimately leads to a sell-off to the market, which you and I have experienced this literally, in my case, all the way back to 88. Real estate's going to deflate at some point. It has no choice, right? We live with a dollar that inflates and deflates constantly. I don't personally know. I just know that this is something that is bigger than itself. And whether or not, and I know people hate me as a marketer for saying this, but is it something that I can collateralize to get a seller or get a buyer?
I don't know. I don't see, from my perspective, the market is normal. It's not being weighed down one way or another. And if it had any impact, it's what's the risk look like over the next 90 days. And there is a chance that the universe could align to cause job loss and lose consumer confidence, and prices come down because sellers have to sell and buyers don't necessarily have to buy. Outside of that, it's business as usual. I've got a race from this, and I've got 3 listing meetings this afternoon. I'm expecting to get, 3 more, 3 listings today and put them on the market. And we're not changing our process one bit.
Yeah, and my only point to this is it's always going to come down to public perception. whether or not it benefits everyone or whether it hurts everyone, and that's okay.
Now, listen,
Um,
Lee, there might be buyers and sellers that are sitting on the sidelines that I'm just not in communication with, but the sellers who are moving forward and the buyers who are in the market, I mean, there's still plenty of opportunity out there for us. I had 30 people at an open house, well, there was more than that. We could only register 30 on Sunday, and I'm getting 3 listings today, and everything that I'm putting on the market still has multiple offers. So, there may be some people, it's probably true. There are some people that are not willing to go out and look at houses, and some sellers who don't want people in their market, but they're not I'm not in communication with them, and they're not impacting the results that we're having.
no,
They're
I
actually,
hear you. I totally hear you. Look, I'm looking at the sale of my particular property, right, from an investment standpoint,
yeah.
and they started rather high. I know what their percentage to net return is. They actually told me yesterday while they're selling it, and I brought investors in, right? This property is about a 10% return on the money invested, and they're having difficulty moving a property that's approximately 20 units on the beach at a 10% gross return year on year. And I thought, that's crazy. Like, that should be a no brainer for an investor. I realize that people are looking for home runs, but I also get, having talked to my clients, they're
Well,
seeing a retraction from buyers who are not apt to want to go out and actually search properties.
yeah. Well, listen, if I were an investor buyer doing a fix and flip, I would be cautious because there is a reasonable chance that that the slowdown in the overall economy will ultimately trickle down to job loss or layoffs, and which would cause people to go to the sideline, which would result in a in a in downward pressure on prices. But if I'm a homeowner that's looking to make a move for the next, and I'm going to be there for 12 years, it's nothing. It makes no difference. Buy the house now. But if you're buying it as an investment, and if you've got a 10% margin, but you're afraid the market's going to go down 20%, that would give me pause, as an
Yeah.
investor. So from that perspective, you have to be very careful, and you have to take into consideration what could happen, you know, so, but it's not likely to happen, but it could, and it's a worthy consideration. It's a risk factor.
All right, let's talk about capitalization, right? We've talked about it multiple times on this call. First, shamelessly, we've always said that a specialty in real estate will be the long term result in success. If somebody's working with a distressed property, this is shameless plug. David, how do people get a hold of you?
Well, you call 805-413-8000. You can email me at david@homeloanadvocates.com. And if you're an investor or you're somebody that loves working distressed properties like I do, listen, I don't want you to pray for a downturn, but there's given a real probability that if it does affect it, this is a great opportunity. Now, this is the opportunities that you wait for. And, the stock market's down like 20%, from its peak. But if you compare it to 2008, the stock market was down 56%, from its peak then. And now we're already well above that 10 years later. Housing stumbled, but housing didn't stumble that much. In my market, it got 20, in some pockets, maybe 30%. And we're now at or above where, those prices were, So, listen, it's normal for the markets to adjust. It's healthy for the markets to adjust, in the long run, and they create pockets of opportunity. The only people that are losing in the stock market are people who need their cash now. If you don't need your cash, you just leave it in. And if you got extra cash, it's probably a good time to be buying stocks. And the
Well,
same with housing. If you don't need to sell, maybe you don't. If you don't need to buy, maybe you don't. But if you need to, there shouldn't no. If you need to buy or sell, all I can say is sell now, and you buy when you buy, and there's a good chance that if you wait a month or two, that prices might be a little lower than they are now. If you're an investor and you need to buy right and then you got to sell right, you might want to build in a little extra margin, not knowing whether or not a downside is going to come from this.
I would say this for anybody listening. If you have $8 million to invest, I've got an oceanfront property that'll bring you a 10% gross. Hey, go to Honish.com. Let me know. I'll call you. If you're a real estate agent and you're struggling to find buyers or sellers, go to Honish.com. Let's talk about this. Capitalization of the market, right? Again, go to Honish.com, find out how to get involved with Monster Marketing. I've repackaged it. It now includes a front end, a story, a digital page, a Facebook page. Like, if you've been following this podcast or you've been following our videos, David and I have talked about this repeatedly. You need the story on the front end. I've repackaged the whole thing, and I guarantee you're going to have a difficult summer if you're not working on a specialty. So let's talk about this. How does this impact a distressed seller? Are banks, David, from your perspective right now, quicker on the draw on making deals on short sale, or is it business as usual?
Business as usual. We're not seeing any kind of change in the bank's, perspective. I mean, they have, and even if they did want to change the way they did it, they're big and bureaucratic, and it takes them a long time to turn the boat. I mean, they don't, they can't wake up in the morning like you or I can, and most of the people on this call, and say, okay, going forward, this is how we're going to do our business, and bam, that's how you do business. They've got to push it up and down, and then they've got to train, and then they got to announce, and then they got to. It's a major process. I don't think they can do anything in less than 90 days, and by the time they got to it, they would it'll be over maybe. So I don't think you're going to see any shift in the way that they do business.
Is there anywhere in the near future you're thinking about bringing advocate marketing back or a short sale package back with very specifics?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you and I were going to do another, another meeting, I think we were talking about doing something in April. So we would certainly introduce it, and the website is almost all finished. So I'm eager to do that. We're just in final proofing, right now, and it's just waiting for me. Frankly, I think it's done. I just need to go through and proof it and kind of get it released. And we've been so busy, I just haven't felt the urgency to do that, but I want to do that. The other thing that I want to start talking about is I want to start talking about where if you're a real estate agent, where the industry is going, and how do you get out ahead of that and start to share some of the things that we're doing around for sale by owner, for sale with owner, the Smart Buyer Plus program that we've talked about. And we're starting to build a team of people all up and down the state of California and eventually nationwide to really help us execute the strategy. And so we are, if you're ready to do more business and you really want to learn the business from a different angle, these are conversations that I would love to have with you. And you can call me at 805-379-3300, or you can email me at david@helpyourselffullservice.com and just tell me that you're interested in learning more about joining our team or being part of our program. And we would love to begin to work you in and show you something that is really, really exciting. So
no, it's a super smart model, right? So I wanted to do it with EXP either as an agent or otherwise, and bring my marketing to agents and create my own group that would do that. And ultimately, I'm going to say this for everybody who's EXP, I'm sorry, but your company shares the lack of focus. So David smartly, as a broker owner, and I've talked to other boutique owners about this, why aren't you building, right, David, based on our meeting, why wouldn't you build an EXP model where you can provide tools and service on a very specific niche, right? Either advocate marketing or monster marketing, one and the same, or a way for an agent to succeed. I think that this is the future. I don't think it's digitally based. I think it's literally about a boutique owner like you going out and presenting or going live and showing people the value of, look, we care about you, we invest in you. This is a great discussion. Um, why not? Your broker license covers all of California. Why wouldn't you get a couple of hundred people throughout Southern
I,
California to
yeah,
live in your model?
well, yesterday I listed a house in Mammoth yesterday.
Smart.
We just sold one in San Diego not too long. We just closed one in Long Beach last week. We are everywhere, and we need and it's happening all by accident. And so we've decided to really focus on it. And and I'm not ready to make the big announcement, really right now. But the way I do business is getting ready to forever change. The banner that I carry, which is currently "Help You Sell," could change forever. And
If you
I
become EXP, David, we've got issues.
well, we'll talk. But the world is shifting, and
Right.
the we're doing business the way it's going to be done, and we're doing it now. And we think, and there are a lot of people that are supporting us financially in order to make that happen sooner versus later. And I suspect that this platform will be one of the ways that we really start to announce what we're doing. But if you're looking to do it differently than you've been doing, and you're more interested in making more money versus making a higher split, we should have a conversation if you're licensed in the state of California.
No, I completely agree. In fact, I've started to examine building a model for, and I just had this discussion with Robert, right? Why wouldn't, based on our networks, we create our own iBuyer program? And I say this to everyone. If you have investors, why don't you have your own iBuyer program? If you're an independent broker, why aren't you creating a network of agents throughout the country? Number three, which David and I have talked about week in and week out, work on a specialty. Distressed is still the way to go. You can still get short sale property. You can still get below the market. I'm watching it with the place that I currently live. These guys are nickel and diming ultimately to get the best deal possible. And I suspect for a fix and flip, based on the way they came through the property. And it only took me 5 minutes, and I was friends with everybody, and I was the next property manager. Like, it was almost ridiculous on multiple levels of how unprepared they were, because they only work in one set of parameters and rules. And you need to think beyond that box. As you, as a broker, David, I would imagine it's important to expand your vision and look at what, say, an EXP is doing, right? Passive income or flat fee, or any of these things can be implemented and built as an independent broker. And I don't understand repeatedly why brokers don't go beyond this model. To me, it's fascinating because, as a guy who does marketing for everybody, and I'm asked to fix all sorts of things from pizza to real estate, why won't you go beyond what you think is traditional? And you have done a remarkable job of not being traditional. How do you get out of that mindset for your own business?
Well, first of all, I never had the benefit of working for a traditional agent. So when I take a look at real estate, I really try to approach it from a consumer perspective. And what's the consumer looking for? Rather than listen, if you're a real estate agent, and I know there are investors on this call, so I apologize, but if you're a real estate agent and you're going out and you're talking to people, and you're a traditional, let's call it, I want to say 6% agent, but let's call it a 5% agent that and sometimes 4% or less. If you are a traditional agent, you're spending all your time trying to convince them that this old way of doing business is the way that you're supposed to, do business, and you can convince them or not. And what I do is different. Is I go out and I say, what do you want? What would, if all things were possible, not those words exactly, how would you go about doing this? And we've basically created 4 programs, and we let them choose from a menu of which way they want to do. And we just help them figure out what they want to do. and then help them do it better instead of forcing them into a model that is basically based on collusion, that the more expensive your house is, the more you have to pay in order to sell your house. And the way that we do business here is different than Australia and the United Kingdom and Israel and some of the places that I've researched, on big real estate markets. And the only reason that we haven't moved to the way they're doing it is the National Association of Realtors. And now with the lawsuits that are taking place around buyer agent commission and effectively, I don't know if they use the word collusion, but you're going to see major changes and disclosures about buyer agent commissions. And sellers are going to begin to have the option to offer different amounts, including zero to buyer agent commissions. And there's going to be a growing trend that will eventually become permanent, that buyer agents are going to start, or buyers are going to have to pay their own buyer agency fees like they do in all other countries. So you're going to see some major shift, and maybe it takes the Supreme Court to figure it out 5 years from now, but the change is coming. But more importantly, the upswell of consumers not willing to play by those traditional rules anymore, because the internet makes doing it differently possible. The harder that these traditional agents hold on to that, the better it is for a progressive company like ours, who are coming in and redefining how it ought to be done and creating incredible experiences and giving people full service and big savings and better results than they've been able to accomplish before, or helping them sell their house on their own better, using the same technology that buyers use to find a house, help them sell their house on their own without having to to spend a fortune in full service real estate, to essentially do what they can do on their own if they have an expert helping them, which is where we step in.
And it's smart, right? So it's adjustment with the market. So let's talk about working distressed property. Again, shameless plug, if you want to get involved with monster marketing or learn how to get distressed properties, or basically investment properties, go to Honish.com, fill out the form, let us know. I think now is the best time going into the summer, because we all want listings, David. How important is it to work on distressed properties at this moment based on the current market conditions, especially with the fear?
Well, you say this moment, I think it should be part of your daily routine. I think every day you should be working distressed properties, and, depending on how, every day we work on distressed properties. Every day we worked on for sale by owners. Every day we worked on expireds and canceled. Every day we work on repeat and referral business. Every day we're nurturing our database to some degree. In other words, you've got to work. There's all kinds of different lead funnels. I happen to like distressed properties for two reasons. Number one, they generally have to make a decision, in a short time. I like it, especially if you don't have anything else going on. You have to they have to make a decision. There's limited people and there's limited agents competing for that business, and you're getting 6% on all of those listings when you go out and do them right. And so the reality is, I love those. And then once you get your flag, aka your sign, planted in their front yard, if you have nothing else going, I'm going to say, go out and get a distressed property listing, get your sign in the yard, host an open house, get some buyer leads. And then while you're figuring out how to sell that distressed property, go out and start showing houses and put somebody in escrow on a different house. And, and then and start building your database with everybody that you meet and start drip marketing to them. So these are some of the tools that we do every day, which is why our agents don't prospect. They don't have to prospect, because we just plug them into our system. And I had a problem when my agents say, please, no more leads. I can't take any more leads right now. I need to take a break. Where else do you hear that? Okay. So
Actually,
anyway, I don't want to go on too long, but
for the record, my clients, David,
where you have to start. That's where I started. And when I had nothing else going on, I started with distressed properties in this, $1 million a year gross commission income, business that we've built. all came from one distressed property sign, and then everything else just evolved. As we generated more income, we generated more lead funnels, and it just continues to grow and grow and grow and grow, and we get better and better and better and better at it. So, never stop. That's the big thing. And listen, if you can't get one of those, here's a little pro tip. I mean, I don't know if you're independent or not, but figure out what the lowest possible fee is that you can list the house with your brokerage, and go out and put a sign in the yard and start marketing that house, because nothing will generate business like business. But it starts with a listing. You've got to control the listing. Yep. Distressed properties are the easiest way to do that. And if you can't go, then give one away. Do one for free. Just go get a listing.
Wait, I'll say this. Put the sign in your front yard and generate action from that. I know people who have done that, for sure. I don't know what the difficulty is. I work with a lot of real estate agents who want more leads. Okay, there are plenty of leads out there. Facebook generates an ungodly amount of leads for my clients. The second location is, and I tell my clients this all the time, why aren't you monster marketing? Why aren't you doing open houses? Why aren't your signs up? It's really simple math. Just build a list. If you can get a list, the follow-up is simple. David and I have talked about this repeatedly till our heads explode. But if you guys want a lead funnel, and I know Sharon's on this call, when it works, even in David's case, when your funnel finally tipped the other way in about 9 months, how mind-blowing was it when the funnel actually started to produce consistently?
Well, I mean, if I look at I might be able to tell you. I happen to have my spreadsheet open. Let's see if I have a history here. Help you sell. Yeah, so here it is. So when and remember, I never sold a house retail before. I was always doing, I started with short sales, and so the first year I started doing this was 2013. I did 10 transactions. But I did 39 in 2014, and then I did 53 in 2015, and then I did 67 in 2016, and we did 70 in 2017, and we did 77 in 2018, and so you can see how it grows, and then now we've just had the best January that we've ever had, and it looks like, so that's a pretty good sign that we're going to have a pretty good year unless the sky falls. So I'm really excited about the future of our business, and more importantly, our clients are excited about it based on their level of engagement, because we're not offering the same old way of doing business. We create clear differentiation between what we do and what everybody else does, and it makes so much sense because it's the way that people want to do it, the way they think it ought to be done. And it's fair, and it's effective.
How do people get a hold of you?
805-379-3300, 805-379-3300. And you can reach me, David at helpyourselffullservicerealty.com or David at homeloanadvocates.com. They'll both make it to me.
And if you want more buyers or sellers, and I guarantee that fact, go to Honish.com, fill out the form. I will call you. We will have a 1 hour, and you will have a steady stream in your funnel, whether or not I like it, it seems, and teach you how to qualify them to be a buyer or a seller. Go to Honish.com, simple as that, or give me a call, 858-663-2537. Again, the number is 858-663-2537.